Sorry. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Brewers May edition. Yeah, so happy to be here. I've always looked for this session once a month that we get together and talk about what's the best thing that we have learned this month from the book we have read. And then I apologize earlier. I will turn on my camera sometime a little bit later in a few minutes. But for now, please be happy with just my voice. Okay, so it's a little bit straightforward. So I will share a screen where you can answer some of these questions. But if you can come up with your own format, if you have anything to share outside this question, you're very welcome to do that. So basically, the first question is, tell us about the book you want to discuss. What's the best key lesson from it? Right? And then number two, is there anything you don't like about the book? In my opinion, sometimes we want something more, even the book that we like with 5 out of 5 rating star. Okay? And then this is just my opinion. I like reading a book, yeah, just like in Goodreads. If you are not comfortable with it, it's okay, yeah. But here I want to ask, what's your rating out of 5 that the book is? And any questions from the audience, or you can also ask the audience about some of the interesting points you can find from the book. And last but not least, what do you want to read next and why? Okay. And then since Fajar will leave at 1, I will ask him to start with his first. Fajar, do you want to share any screen? Usually you have a slide. Fajar? Muted.
I will just share the title of the book.
Oh, okay. So I will unshare this and put it in the chat box.
Okay, please.
Give me a second.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
So, by the way, I changed the book, but actually this is a very similar book from the book that I have mentioned in the group. So let me share screen. So basically, the book that I would like to share with you, to discuss with you, is this: Proof of Heaven, a neurosurgeon's journey into the afterlife. Just a little bit disclaimer here. We are not talking about religion here. It is simply a neurosurgeon telling his experience when he was almost die. Okay, so basically, in a very short sentences, there is a surgeon, neurosurgeon, and he was infected by a very rare brain disease, meningitis, and bacteria eat away his brain inside his head, and he was coma for 2 weeks. And the doctor said that, oh my, this is a very rare case of brain disease, and the chance of surviving was very small. But somehow after 2 weeks, he was miraculously cured. Uh, but that's not the most amazing part. The most amazing part was that when he was almost die, when he was in coma, he said that he experienced something very amazing. He said that he went to quote unquote heaven, and in that, this neurosurgeon is basically like maybe agnostic or skeptics, but he experienced this thing. So from his story, he went to maybe heaven. He met angel, and he met something like maybe God, and there are, and actually there are several interesting things. He said that he is a neurosurgeon, and he knows very well about what happens in his brain, and he knows for sure that what happens with his brain during the coma is not delusional. It's not like taking a drugs or something like that. uh, because he knows that his brain at the time is dead. It's impossible for him, for the brain to create those images. And he also said that what is his experience in the afterlife was like very real. And he said like even realer, more than in real life. Yeah, he said that. Um, he also met angel, he also met God, but he said that um, the God was like he just know that he is God, but he don't know whether it is Jesus, uh, Buddha, Allah, or he just know that it is God. With his, he just know it somehow. And then there is another thing that makes it very weird is that um, he met angel. He met angel who greet him in the heaven, and actually the angel was the the relative that already died. So there's already a relative of him that's already passed away, but somehow uh, he met him there. So it was like, oh my God, how come I met him there? Something like that. Actually, I find it very interesting. And actually, what this phenomenon is called near-death experience. And this phenomenon has been recorded so many times. It is actually very common occurrence, but we just don't discuss that usually. Um, and there are so many people who study this scientifically. So I think that one learning lesson from this book is that maybe this is a very concrete proof that there is afterlife. So after we die, we just don't simply turn into worms or bacteria in the ground, but our soul will maybe go somewhere into the afterlife, maybe to heaven or hell, I don't know. And there's a purpose why we live here, despite all of our struggles. Maybe you should just read it because I think that this is really good. Is there anything you don't like about the book? Well, I don't find anything that I didn't like. It was very amazing, very not biased, and easy to read. That is for me. What's your rating out of 5 stars? It is 5 stars. I recommend you to read this. My very brief explanation cannot explain how amazing this book was. Any question from the audience, or you want to ask to audience? So please, anyone would like to ask any question?
I have a question if no one else first. Okay, so Fajar, do you believe him? That's
Yeah.
first.
Do you believe what?
Why?
Or do you believe
Yeah.
the author?
Yes.
Yeah.
Next one is how does he remember all of this? If his brain was dead, meaning I don't know, scientifically he should not be able to memory when our brain is dead. So how did he wake up and remember all of these things when he was in coma? Something like that.
Well, for the first question, do I believe it? Well, I believe it because I have already read similar book. So it is what? Oh yeah, the book was called After. It is um, like another scientist who study about near-death experience, and actually there are so many similarity among near-death experience. So I find that this cannot be just a coincidence. So there must be a common theme about this. It cannot be just delusional because many people say the same thing, very similar thing about the heaven, about the timelessness, about the angel God or something like that. So I think I believe it from reading this book.
Like the
And
time
then for
flight and then meeting someone who has died, relatives who have died is a common
yeah,
yeah. Yeah. Now the
and
second question.
then how do the author remember this when he's already dead, right? I mean, his brain is dead. The answer is that even the author himself don't know. He was amazed. He knows he's a neurosurgeon for so many years. He knows the what each part of the brain was infected, that was damaged, uh, and he knows that it's impossible for him to remember all of it. But somehow he remember very clearly, and he was stupefied. He was amazed. So he decided to share this story, and actually there are so many other people who experience the same thing. Okay. Any other question?
Any other questions from the
What
floor?
what happened there? Is just a merely a meeting, or is there anything else? So the author turned into something like a point or something like that. I don't know, a light maybe. And he
Yeah.
went there, and he went to heaven. There are so many people, uh, maybe like a little village, but it's like a different. And they live very happily. There are angels, and oh yeah, there is one particularly conversation that he remember. Uh, the God says that, oh, I know that. Uh, so basically, his job in our real life is not done yet. So you have to come back, and afterward you will come back to this place again. And
Mm.
many other people who experience near death experience also experience the same. Your job in real life is not finished. Come back first. Come back to
Oh,
the
I
real
see.
world first.
It's not yet started.
Okay. So yeah, you should just read it because it's like really
Okay, got it.
mind blowing in my opinion.
Oh, Fajar, I read similar. No, the other book, The Greatest Secret by Rhonda Byrne. Byrne, yeah. She mentioned that we are actually a consciousness, that kind of thing. I haven't finished reading it though. Yeah, but it's interesting that our consciousness is actually us. It's not our mind. It's not our body. Like our
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah,
something like
interesting.
that. I think he mentioned similar thing that
Mhm.
we are he's still conscious despite he already don't have anybody somehow, so he cannot explain why, but it's just what happens. Mhm.
Well, consciousness always fascinates me because I watch a lot of documentaries about consciousness. We call it the observer. We're like
Mhm.
the machine, like what is this ghost, right? And then some scientists define it as consciousness. But where do consciousness go when we are put to sleep, like DBUs, for surgery? And where did they go? you know? So a lot of these questions are very interesting, definitely.
Okay. Any other question?
Okay,
Otherwise,
Fajar, I have a
okay.
question. Yeah. So some of the book with a similar topic, usually they say that the afterlife they have a chance to go to heaven.
Yeah.
Just out of this book, do you find similar book that discuss the same topic, but instead of go to heaven, now they go to hell?
Yes. um, okay, so there is a scientist who study about near-death experience. He collected so many stories, and there are some people, actually most of them go to happy place, heaven, but some of them went to heaven, went to hell, and they said that it was pitch black. It is like outside of the God, I don't know, because he said that everything is part of the God, and uh, outside of the God it's like hell or nothingness, or I don't know, something like something terrible in the hell. Although he mentioned that uh, our morality, our behavior in the earth doesn't necessarily mean uh, the person went to hell or heaven during that short visit to afterlife. Yeah. um, yeah. Oh, he said that even if the person is like criminal during his near-death experience, he went to heaven somehow. On the other hand, a good person, a simple person, went to hell. Maybe just to showcase. Maybe I don't know. It's just what the person experienced. Hell is the absence of God. Valhalla. Yeah, hell is the absence of God. Exactly. That's the word. Okay. Any other? Otherwise, I will go to the fifth question. Okay.
Yes.
What do you want to read next? The book that I want to read next is the similar book. It is called After. Is it? After is I have not completed. I have not completely read about it. But basically, it is a book about a doctor who explore what near-death experience reveal about life and beyond by Bruce Grayson. So he's not a religious person, but he is very curious why this thing keep occurring and very similar thing happen by among people. Okay. Oh yeah, just a quick note. Very interestingly, he said that uh, many of the people who go to afterlife, who go to afterlife, they meet God, but the God is not exactly the same. Sometimes Jesus, sometimes Buddha, sometimes apa itu? Dewi Kuan Yin. I don't know. He said that. So I don't know what makes the God that they meet is different. Okay, maybe that's all. Uh, okay, thank you.
Wow, amazing. Fajar is quite different book that we usually read here. So it's a fresh breath of air, that they call it. Okay, in book brewers community. Thank you, and we're looking forward to discuss your next book after, right? And hopefully we find, I don't know whether a new perspective about the afterlife after reading after. Okay, thank you so much. Now let's go to Donald. Let's go to Donald. Please share about your book.
Okay, thank you, Bibit. The book that I'd like to share is titled Business Adventures. I will share a link in the chat. But this is an article by Bill Gates in his blog, and it says that this is the best business book I've ever read. And actually, Bill Gates got the recommendation from Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett said that this is the best book that he had ever read and sent his copy to Bill Gates, and Bill Gates read it and agreed, something like that. So because two of these great business people agree on this topic, so I got interested in this book. And the first question, tell us about the book you want to discuss. What's the best key lesson from it? So I think why they like this book is because this book contains stories, 12 stories, instead of just statements or lessons in the form of like facts or just bullet points. It contains 12 stories, and the stories cover many different aspects of business and finance. Actually, there are 12 stories. I will give a brief overview about the topic. So the first one is about stock market crash. It's about the mood of the market actually. The conclusion is there is no explanation. Sometimes the market behaves strangely. The second story is about launching a new product from Ford. In all these stories is in 1960s. And then the third one is about income tax, and it's quite eye-opening for me because we pay tax, but we never knew how it came about. And then fourth one is about insider trading. The fifth one is about invention and innovation, especially from the story of Xerox, the photocopy company. And then the sixth one is about taking too much debt, danger, or called leverage actually. And the seventh one is the importance of communication. So there is a communication failure inside a big company. And then the eighth one is about a stock market phenomenon called short squeeze. There are people who do short selling of stock and they get, yeah, they lost a lot of money. And then about changing career, about shareholder meetings, about stealing trade secrets, and lastly about central banks creating currency. In this case, pound sterling got attacked by speculators. So I think the stories cover quite a lot of ground, from innovation, from central bank, from communication, and tax. So I guess that's why they like this book. And for me, it's eye-opening because not only I get to know about all these aspects, but also because of the stories form, yeah, we have emotion, right? Because with only fact, it only touch our logic, but with stories, it touch our emotion. Next question. What's your rating out of 5 stars? Well, I will give it 4 out of 5. Maybe because I've read quite a lot of business books before, so not many of them are new in this book. So I give it 4. But if someone maybe not not reading so many books yet on business, maybe it can be 5. Also, it's about the 1960s, so not as relevant as today. Today is more complicated, of course. I shared maybe 2 months ago about A Man for All Markets. That one is more relevant. A Man for All Markets, about the story of a mathematics professor who became a hedge fund manager. So that one is more fascinating for me because quite a lot of new things. And then, any question from the audience? Yeah, any question from the audience?
I have a question, Donald. Did you say Bill Gates said this is the best business book he's ever read?
Yes, I shared the link in the chat.
Yes, but you said it's not the best. That means
Yes.
standard is higher than Bill Gates for book. Did he
Yeah.
mention why? Did Bill Gates mention why it was the best for him?
Not sure. I haven't read the blog post again. So, but I guess it's the same reason. It's because this is stories, the form of stories. And the stories are very good actually. And with background check, especially when we remember that this is in the 1960s, no internet back then. So to have this kind of depth in terms of reporting, it's quite a lot of work. You cannot use Google. Yeah, so I guess I say this is not the best business book that I've read because I haven't reached the level, so cannot appreciate as much. Maybe just like if I'm shown the painting of Picasso, I say not so good, but for real artists, they say it's very good.
Maybe I wanna ask a question. First, do you do currently do you do business, or and how do you think you can apply this book to your job or your business?
Well, yes, I have a small business and online business, and this is actually I like to learn a lot about business and finance, not just business but also finance. Just as a side note, I read my favorite newspaper is actually the Wall Street Journal. I subscribe to it and I read it almost daily. I don't want to miss anything, and it's a great investment for me. I learned so much from it, and maybe that's one more reason why this book is not so enlightening because there is so much that has been covered in the journal. So the lessons for me, maybe the biggest takeaway is tax. I get to appreciate about tax, and I get to know that our tax system in Indonesia is actually very beneficial. And I get to know, oh, so this is the best way to optimize tax in our system. I think because it gives explanation. This tax is the tax is using progressive rates in Indonesia. It's called PPh 21, and then they will give loopholes in the form of capital gain tax is lower, and in Indonesia it's very low, 0.1% really from the sale of stock. So I get quite a lot of inspiration about how to maximize tax benefits legally, of course.
Donald, I actually agree. Recently, I made a CV with my husband, and I wanted to pay tax, but they say if it's under 4 million, no need to pay tax. They said, what? Oh, that's a good
Wow.
news, but okay then, that's keputusan pemerintah ya, the government policy, then it's up to them. But I think it's not a good policy.
Yeah, but be careful. So as far as I know, it's 0.5%, not no tax, but 0.5%.
Yeah, 0.5. But then when I went to the tax office, they look at the earning. Well, it's quite significant in my opinion, but it's under 4 million. So they says it's okay, don't need to pay. What? I'm like, just need to report. Oh, okay. It's just, yeah, incredible.
They're so nice, yeah.
They are, yeah, but I don't think it's a strategic policy. Yeah. Yeah. So any other question for Donald?
Okay, Donald.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I do
Let's
have a
go.
question. Yeah, two things that interested me about this book. So I quickly searched it on Kindle, and it's actually only $3. So it's quite a bargain. And number two is about story. And my question is, if person like me, who I can say is a company of one, who do the business by myself, exactly, I and you definitely we have some similarity. Will you recommend this book? I mean, is it this book, the business, is it more to like a big business company, or is it also applicable for like small business company of one, just like us? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, David. So this is a good book, but this is, in my opinion, it's not the best book for our situation. So not as applicable. This is more general. So, but some of the lessons are applicable, like innovation. The story of Xerox is especially good, in my opinion, because it shows about the importance of innovation, how to make an invention. So maybe if uh, you are interested in this, for everyone, if you're interested in this book, maybe just read the Xerox story, the fifth story, about how to bring an innovation or an invention to the market. So they started research in 1947 and became a finished product in 1960. So it's 13 years of research that kind of persistence. So this is a good book in general because it also talks about central banks, but if it's about specifically for 1% company, not the best book in my opinion. Not as applicable, but for long term, I think it's good. Thank you.
Thank
This
you,
is
Donald.
Xerox Xerox, right?
Yes, the photocopy.
Copy machine.
Yeah. Actually, Xerox was also discussed in Loonshot, the book I discussed so many times. But it's also the victim of disruption in the business, right? So, and they also, quote unquote, failed to innovate. That's why after the invention of printer and Canon somehow passed by Xerox in even photocopy in their own game, for example. So Xerox was the story of innovation, but also the story of failing to keep innovating. It's like somehow reach the peak level and then flat after that. So,
Yes, that's right. This book is written in 1960s, and at that time, actually at the end of the story, the CEO of Xerox said that we have a growth problem. Meaning there is no more market for photocopy. We have to do something else. And actually, one of the research that they did is graphical user interface for computer, like Macintosh from Steve Jobs. Actually, the inspiration came from Xerox and also Windows, but they failed to monetize those research, unfortunately. But those are in 1970s, so beyond the scope of this book.
You're muted, Donald.
Yep. Okay. So if there is no other question, or maybe the fifth question here is, what do you want to read next and why? I'm currently reading Infant and Grandeur. It's a book containing the writing of Jeff Bezos, but actually the introduction itself is very good from Walter Isaacson, the biographer. Yeah, I'm reading that book now, and yeah, it's very good book so far. But I'm still in the early phase. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Donald. And then I would like to invite David to continue the discussion.
Okay, so thank you, Pipit. The book that I want to discuss is "You Are Not Listening" by Kate Murphy. This is the one. Okay. So why I read this book? Because currently I'm creating my online course that is called People Skill Course, and then for every skill that I will share in the course, I also read a book about that skill in particular. That's the first reason. And second one is actually listening skill is a communication skill that we can say is important, but is forgotten. Statistic about that, we can see you can find so many books about presentation skill, public speaking. I believe if I ask you what are the books about public speaking, presentation skill, you can say there are so many. But try to find a book about listening skill. It's kind of difficult. Yeah, this is one of the book from listening skill that I read. That in terms of listening skill, then I can say this is the best book about listening skills. The other one that I also recommend is Just Listen, and the other one I forgot. Yeah. Okay, so and the good things about this book is there are several things that I find it. How this is interesting. Yeah. The first thing is this statement. This is the opening statement. Yeah. When was the last time you truly listened to someone? When I mean listen means you truly listen without thinking what you have to say next, without glancing at your cell phone, or without jumping to offer your opinion. Or if we reverse the question, when was the last time someone truly listened to you? He or she was so attentive in what you are saying, and the response was spot on so that you feel truly understood. In our current situation, maybe we feel is quite seldom. Listening is something that also we avoid nowadays, especially with the chat. Now people prefer to read and using emoticon instead of picking up the phone call and listen to someone. So we can say nowadays listening is some kind of lost art. Many people avoid it, and actually, if you can master it, this is a very good leverage for you. So that is the statement in the opening chapter that suddenly hooked me because I can sense this is true. This is what we experience today. And also another important or interesting things that I picked from this book is some of the things. Here is the first one. She said that listening is more of a mindset than a checklist of do and don'ts. She said that if you want to be a better listeners, the first thing that you need is a mindset that is curiosity. Is the basic of good listening skill. You need to be able to interested in other people's. It means to listen is to be interested. Another quote that is very interesting. Everybody is interesting. If someone is bored, if someone is boring, it means you don't know how to ask the right question. So the the mistake is on you, not on the other person. Very interesting, yeah. And another things that I find it interesting is listening is also goes beyond hearing what people say. So it's not just about the words, but when we listen someone, we also need to notice what the others, how how they say it, and also what they are doing while they are saying it. And also, listening is not something that you do when the other person is talking. Listening is also something that you do when you are talking. So when you are talking, you also need to quote unquote listen, see what the other person reaction. So let's say you spend like 5 to 10 minutes telling a stories about your beautiful daughter or son. You really need to know and read, is the person in front of me feeling bored or how? Yeah. So that is the good points that I picked from the book. Yep. And then what I don't like about this book, the second question. What I don't like about this book is the structure. I'm a very structured person. I love is a book is, let's say, split. Oh, this is the first section, and the first section is blah blah blah, and then second section completely different. In this book, the chapter is more like okay, this is tips, and then the second chapter is another tips, but the general structures about the whole book. So it's like, oh yeah, this is the tips mentioned in chapter 1, and then suddenly actually you can jump into chapter 17 and you are still okay. But a good structure book means, oh, you can read it and the rhythm is flowing. So those are the things that I don't like about the books. Number 3, rating. I will give this book 4.5. Yeah. So it's a good, interesting books. I finished this book also quite fast. So that means the book is also interesting. And it's actually listening is something simple, but we can apply it right away. Yeah. Hey Fajar, what was the title? The title is "You Are Not Listening." Not I mentioned that you are not listening, Fajar, but the title of the book is "You Are Not Listening."
Were you missing and white man?
Okay. Okay.
That shows that. So Fajar has become your evidence. People are not listening.
That's why I want to read the book. I want to improve my listening skill.
And quite a while ago, actually, book is sale on discount on Peri Plus. You can get it like around 100 something, yeah. But I already have the Kindle version. Okay, so any question to the listeners? Okay, just want a quick check. Please rate yourself in terms of your listening skill. 1 until 5. 5 it means, oh, I'm a good listeners. Okay, type down your answer in the chat. Rate yourself as a listeners. 1 until 5. Okay, Pipit 4. Confident, yeah? Okay. Thank you for your honesty.
David, I have a reason why it's 4.
Yes.
Because I coach debate, so
Mhm.
we need to listen to attack.
Mhm.
That's the, what is it called? The effect something, yeah?
Mhm.
What is the English term for that?
Side
Oh,
effect.
occupational hazard. Occupational.
Mhm.
So I listen, but the purpose of listening is to be able to turn the table around. Or if it's in Toastmasters, to be able to how many how many no, just kidding. But yeah, for me, it's
Actually, there is a specific chapter about that, Pipit. The chapter is listening to the opposing view,
Maybe the friend
right?
one.
In debate, you definitely listen to the opposing view, right? And there is also a tips that we listen, understand. And the book she mentioned, she tells a story about a person, like I said, negotiator who have to listen to a terrorist. He needs to know what is.
Chris Foss,
No, different one.
different.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, he needs to know what is behind this person and try to understand him or her without have to judge or oh this is something wrong. Yep. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, Donald.
Uh, does the book also talk about charisma? Because
Mhm.
I think listening seems to be connected with charisma, like people like Bill Clinton. I think I read some once that he was a good listener, and therefore it has something to do with his charisma. Thanks.
Okay, so I think I know the books that you mentioned, Olivia Fox Cabin, Charisma Myths. She mentioned that there are three concepts of charisma: power, warmth, and presence. If you are good listening skill, then you have a high grade on the presence, because it present meaning that you listen just in order to understand, not to reply, or you have something else to do, not to get distracted by things. So actually, if you master good listening skill, it can improve your presence. And if you improve your presence, it actually contribute to your charisma. Hmm.
Fajar has a question on the chat box.
Okay. What if I cannot find something interesting from the person despite my willingness to learn? So the answer is you need to develop the asking skill. So in this book, you also mentioned listening skill is also about how you respond. And how you respond, it means you need to be good in ask question. How you ask questions so that you can find something that clicks. For example, if you can find your similarity with the other person, if you can something similar in a topic or hobby that both of you are interested, then it will be a good starting point for conversation. So in summary, Fajar, develop asking skill and find similarity. And if you still cannot find it, at least develop a mindset as a learner. Teach me, yeah? Okay. Mhm.
I have a question, David.
Yes, Pipit?
How did this book change you? Did you feel the difference after you read the book and while you listen to people after
Mhm.
this?
The one that affect me the most is the listening mindset. It's about curiosity. It's about how to become interested in other people. This is something that I can say I'm very lacking in these things. I realized that it's difficult for me to be interested in other people. And actually, the role model in this is my late wife. Yeah? If you know Niken, she is very good in conversing with people. And then I can summarize why she can be very good, because she has a natural interest in other person. So let's say the other person states something simple, then she is interested to know more by also asking simple question. And in that way, then the people just keep on talking. Yeah. Sometimes I admire her for that. Wow, how come she can ask such a simple question that makes people dig deeper into their stories? That's the thing that I really need to develop for myself, yeah, to be able to interested in other people.
David, I would like
Mhm.
to pull out a quote from Tom Hanks.
Mhm.
He said, "You are interesting because you are interested.
Wow.
You want to look interesting.
Hmm?
You want
Being
people to look
interested
at you interesting. You need to be interested in them.
other people.
Because everyone is self-interest, you know. Oh, this person is interested in me. Wow.
Mhm.
He or she is interesting. However, I had a
Thank you.
warning when I was in university.
Mhm.
I was interested in everyone, and like curious, and then a lot of people, "Please stop. Like they would think you like them."
Mhm.
Yeah, so like nanti GR, but I was just genuinely interested, but it was it was interpreted differently. So yeah.
Thank you, Pipit. Actually, what you experience is also summarized in the book and the last chapter that is titled When to Stop Listening. She said that after all, we only have so many hours in a day and there are so many people. At the end, we need to pick our priority. That's actually a good way to summarize the book. That's also one thing that I like from the book. Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah.
Thank you. Now, do you want to talk about the fifth question? What do you want to read
Okay.
next?
Can I ask one more question?
Okay, there you go. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. So sometimes maybe in negotiation we have
Mhm.
to reply and we have to reply quickly. So how can we listen fully without thinking at the same time, and then we can give a prompt reply to our counterpart?
Okay. Uh, this book said that when you listen, you truly listen without having to worry what should you say next. So at the end, if let's say after the other person finish speaking and you are still need the time to think, you still stay in silence to think and prepare your answer. Actually, it is okay. And even the other person will see you as, oh, this person is really serious. He or she really think through what he is going to say next. So it must be take importance. So yeah, I guess that's the answer that I got from the books. So it is okay to stop and to think instead of you have to think while he or she is still speaking.
What if there is
Okay,
an awkward silence then while you're thinking?
that is okay.
Okay, awkward
Okay,
silence is okay.
yes. There is also a chapter mentioning about that. Is about the power of silence. So it's a good book that I can recommend you. Yeah.
How thick is it? How many pages?
Because I'm using Kindle, I cannot show you how thick it is,
Yeah.
and also, but not that thick, because I see the paper version on Peri Plus, probably around 200 pages.
Oh, okay. Yes. 200.
Mhm. Okay, then I'll move on to the next question. What do you want to read next? Currently, I'm reading Mark Manson's second books about that. Everything is safe. I'm now in chapter one, and I find it interesting. So yeah, but
Everything is
probably
F, yeah? Everything is F.
yes, everything is safe. But probably next meeting I will discuss about the catalyst. Yeah? Because catalyst
Catalyst.
is also interesting book. It's about persuasion, but it is very simple that is very applicable as well. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's from me.
Thank you, David.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, Mark Manson is Dia's favorite author. So yeah. Okay, now let's go to Edo. Please share your book.
Okay, the book that I want to share, the title is Blood, Dreams, and Gold: The Changing Face of Burma. So this book talks about the history of Burma and the analysis on its society and how it came to have a long story of struggle like this. So the first point that this book want to address is that Burma or Myanmar is a country that is still struggling to exist even until now. That is because in its long history, there is not a golden age that its people can refer back to. So one person golden age is another person struggle in Burma. So then it give a long explanation of its root cause, and it's basically come down to one point, which is a plural society. So Burma is actually a very diverse nation. It consists of 100 or more ethnicity, indigenous ethnicity, and its indigenous ethnicity speak three different language group. So it's like the difference between its language is like the Russian and Spanish. So there is 100 years of struggle clash between its ethnicity. The key lesson that I found is this: the author Richard Coquette is not only talk about Burma in, but he's also comparing it of how the situation in the Southeast Asian nation post and before the colonial period. So how the colonial period in Southeast Asia, including in Indonesia also, force its population to have a very diverse, very plural society, but cannot give solution to how to maintain that society. So once the colonial power left the country, it's become a melting pot. There is there is where many ethnicities there clash to each other and give problem and raise to a struggle. So that is what happens in Burma. For now, for decades, Burma has been led by its military regime, consists of the majority ethnic Burmese, where there is also minority, there is under discrimination on that ruler, on that society, and it can trace back 100 years in the old Burman Empire, where the Burman Empire actually a very very expansive empire at that time, where where it conquered most of the region in that region, including what used to be part of Cambodia and part of Thailand, and also part of India back then. So that leads to a society that is very fragile. Then the military dictatorship tried to homogenize the people there. That's led to a struggle that happened in the post-colonial, because trying to homogenize a plural society is a very bad idea. So we can also see that in other Southeast Asia, like in Malaysia, in Singapore, and in Indonesia. It's of different country bring its different solution. For example, in Indonesia, we can try to have a democracy with its motto, unity in diversity, but turns out the practical in the field is not like it used to talk. There is still so many discrimination amongst the ethnic minority there, even though we have a better democracy. And then there is also solution that is tried by country like Singapore, where it tried to install a more authoritative government. So lack of democracy, but they can try to stick all this diverse group of people together, but with very low of democracy there. And also there is like Malaysia, that is try to make the majority of people to be a dominant ruler. So the discrimination is quite high in Malaysia, and Myanmar is taken a more it's a more extreme more extreme step in maintaining a homogeneous people in its really plural society. So there is a lesson that can be learned about how a bad idea is to try to maintain a homogeneous society in a actual plural society. Then I wanted to question number 2 is what I don't like about this book is actually this is quite a good book. I cannot say much about what I don't like, but what I feel about this book is repetitive. And also this book is released in 2000 or 2015. So that is where the reform actually happened in Myanmar, where the Aung San Suu Kyi and the Thein Sein president lead the country, and it actually having a good future prospect at the time. But it's no longer quite relevant today, because earlier this year we saw that the situation in Myanmar could step back a decade, and the dictatorship step into the government again. And then some part of the book, like the latest part when it talks about the future of Burma, is can be seems bleak and no longer relevant today. What is your rating? To me, I will rate this book 4/5. Okay, then for the question number 4, any question from the audience? I think I will try to throw this one to the audience to raise a question about this book.
I have
Yeah, this is the book
question.
that I talk about.
My impression is that in Myanmar, it's very difficult for the military people to subject themselves to the civilian. Like in Indonesia nowadays, in Malaysia and virtually everywhere, the civilian is the government, like the prime minister or the president are civilian,
Yeah.
and the military subject to the civilian government. But my impression is that in Myanmar, they have never subject themselves to the civilian government. Like for example, Aung San Suu Kyi got Nobel Prize for peace, yeah, I think peace Nobel Prize. But at the time, but recently, in many years after that, already civilian government. So what is unique about Myanmar? Thank you.
Okay. So what is unique about Myanmar is actually in Myanmar, they at the first years where the government built in the Myanmar, they try to adapt an ideology where the military control many aspects of its economy and its civil. So there are so many business, so many resorts that is under the military, even until the reformation in 2010. Then the corruption in the top official in the government make it military became a very powerful, not only in the military force but also in the economic force, because they control the import and export of the material in Myanmar, and also they control some of the biggest mine and the biggest wood forestry industry in Myanmar. So at the time, at the reformation, of course, the military tried to have a status quo on its status because it's very profitable at that time for the military to exist. The top government is having controlled the majority of the business and economic there. Also, the banking industry is controlled by the military. So once the civilian government rise up, the military do not want to rely on all this economic power, because at the end, the top official concern is only about wealth, about how to have all the wealth in the country under their power. So even from the 2010 until the recent coup, the military is trying to maintain the wealth that they are already acquired.
I have a question, Donald. Sorry, I could not. I had to log in earlier, and I think there are some parts that was not recorded because I left. But I hope it did not significantly cut your part. Okay. So my question is: did the book mention about the British occupation of Burma at all, or not?
Yes, it's all about British occupation also,
Okay.
the
Did it
colonial
mention?
era.
Yeah, the colonial. Did it mention why Burma is very different from other British colony? Like usually British colony successful usually.
Okay.
But the
Yeah.
British take care of their asset outside the country. They build the infrastructure and stuff like that. But why Burma did not succeed even after colonized by the Brits?
Okay. So actually, Burma colonized by the British is under force, because it is not unlike other colony where the government is situated inside the nation, but in Burma the government is situated in the British India. So the center of the government is not actually in Burma, but in the Calcutta. And then during that colonial time, there is a surge in immigration of the Indian people from all over in the British India into the Burma, that also causing the pressure into the local indigenous people. And that then there is also during early 20th century, there is a problem with the Indian businessmen that established a money lending business, like a loan shark there that loan money to the farmer and the miner there, and then once once the farmer cannot pay, it take out all the
And
land, the farmland. And then at the end of the British rule, most of the farmland in Burma is owned by not by the Burma people, but by the loan shark. And then this causes to a wave of hatred toward the immigrants that come during the British Empire. And then they are trying so hard to reverse all that condition in the British, to dismantle all that British already built upon the Burma, because the hatred towards the British is so bad. Even during the British colonial period, the Yangon become the most dangerous place in the British Empire at the time, because that hatred built up during the time.
so that's why the special situation that time, it was too far from the central government of the British colony, right?
Yes,
And also the search of immigration.
yes, the immigration.
Okay. Is there any other question? I actually love Myanmar. I already wrote it some time ago in my Facebook. I experienced an epiphany when I was there. So, whoa, even talking about it now makes me want to cry almost. It's that I never experienced anything like that. I was alone in the street. Everyone already went home. And suddenly I saw, it's just like almost heaven, probably. Like, I cannot even explain it. But Myanmar reminds me a lot of Indonesian in the 90s. Probably. That's how I felt. Almost like I was in junior high school or elementary school when I walk around the area, you know. It reminds me a lot of my childhood and blah, blah, blah. So it was really good experience.
Question for you.
Yes.
So, what do you think about I don't know, revolt or the current situation in Myanmar? Do you think the people will prevail or the junta will prevail? What do you think?
Ah, to me personally, I will think in this age there is no place for a coup anymore. So the people in the information age and during this age, actually the coup is not have its place. It's too outdated for the current society. So I believe that the people will succeed. Maybe in a few years we don't know, but at the last I think the people will succeed.
I think that depends. Is there any natural resources in Myanmar? If there are natural resources in Myanmar, I think a lot of countries.
Actually, Myanmar is very rich.
Yeah, which is weird, right? So if Myanmar is so rich in natural resources, particularly oil, then a lot of countries will help without even being asked.
Yeah, they said that Myanmar have all sort of gold, the black gold, the yellow gold, the green gold, the brown gold, every gold have in Myanmar.
Why no one is interested then, yeah?
Yeah, because there is currently all the wealth is controlled by the military, most of the wealth, around
But you know, the
60%.
military in Myanmar is not that strong. When they actually took over the government, they only brought 4 cars with 2 Meriam. That's it, right? That's
Yeah,
like, we even have bigger pangkalan in Surabaya than them. You saw the itu kan of
yeah,
over the government video. They
yeah,
only
yeah.
brought 4 cars with 2 guns.
Actually, the military spending in Myanmar is quite high. I think more than many of the countries. There's also a
Okay.
problem there.
Yeah. Well, we hope they can get out of this as
Yes.
they can. Yes. Any other question from the floor? Okay. Now let's go to your number 5 question.
Number 5.
Next book.
Actually, for now, I haven't decided what I want to read next. Maybe I will keep it as a surprise for next meeting.
You sure? People usually have like 100 wish list what to read.
Uh, yeah, that's why it's become hard to choose when you
To
have so
choose,
many
yeah.
things to choose.
But is it going to be history? You know anything like? Is it going to be history or politics, psychology, any particular field you're interested in?
I think the next will be about humanities. Maybe I will about
Humanity, yeah.
humanities.
Okay, thank you, Edo. Now, can I go first, and after that, Michael and Jiska? Michael, are you okay? You said you were observing, but I know you have read something. Yes, okay, got it. Right, so the book I read this month is Beyond the Bleep. Bleep is the F word, so actually beyond, well, yeah, beyond the F, yeah. So this is actually inspired by the documentary What the Bleep Do We Know, or What the F Do We Know. It's about quantum physics and the application in daily life. I watched the documentary in 2005. It was booming that time. And the documentary was interesting, but also quite confusing because it was very theoretical, all of the subatomic electron, protons, and things like that. Right. And then I was hoping after reading this book, I will get more paham, with that documentary. Actually, after reading this, I get even more confused than before. And basically, what I can take away is even scientists with very logical mind, I think they also, there's a possibility they go towards new age tendency. If you know, new age is almost like tahayul, right? For example, quantum physics, they said it's related to YCYR movement, or you create your own reality movement, for example, inspired by that Emoto's water, the message in water research, that what you send message to water, metaphysics, yes, metaphysics, science, pseudoscience as well, right? So what the message of water, if you give word of love, word of encouragement, word of hatred to water, then it will react to it, form a crystal. And then all of our body, 70% happens to be liquid. So if we keep doing that, then we will behave a certain way. This is almost pseudoscience and metaphysics. So even someone who is very scientific, at least, can also get into that trap, into the metaphysics. I am actually very skeptical with the metaphysics in the first place. And what I learned is also in quantum physics, what we observe in a subatomic level, it doesn't have to be applicable also in the bigger level of life, right? What happens in our nervous system, sometimes we don't even realize it here, right? Just like in subatomic. For example, when we're dreaming of nightmare, we can kick sometimes and wake up, right? It's almost like our body and our consciousness do not even coordinasi, with each other. Like, don't you realize you were just dreaming? Why is it necessary to kick? If they're actually part of our same body, then they should have just realized that it was just a dream. So in subatomic level, electrons never touch each other, right? So then the scientists conclude that in real life, no one touches nothing. So if you touch this mouse, this is just an illusion of touching. Actually, the electrons of my body and the electrons of this mouse never touch each other. It's like, oh, that is so weird, but okay, whatever. And also, in subatomic level, the same electrons can be in two places at the same time. This is called superposition, right? So if it's two places at the same time, then they said that this is the evidence of alternative universe. alternate universe. Actually, Stephen Hawking believed in alternate universe as well. And a lot of scientists believe in what is that called? Bill Nye, the science guy, also believe in the alternate universe because of the subatomic observation that thing can be in two places at the same time, and it's captured on camera. So they try to think that probably happens to us too. We can be in two places at the same time in the other dimension. So X, Y, Z, time, place, wait, was it a three dimension, right? So X,
Why?
yeah, like two dimension, and then there's Z is time, something like that. Oh, it's just a bit confusing. But I really like this kind of book because it's actually, you see my handwriting here, so it really triggers me to triggers my mind. If there are things that I find it interesting, and then I suddenly have a train of thought and write a lot of reflections, although it's very scattered like this. So I like this type of book. I like the book that can trigger me to either oppose or agree with it, right? So at least I like this type of interaction when I read a book. And because of that, although I don't really like it in terms of it's too metaphysics for me, but I still give it a 4. Oh, from 3, I increase it to 4 because at least it triggers my mind to, you know, to have a train of thought. And the next one is actually, sorry guys, I lost the chat box. Okay, here. What I don't like about the book is too metaphysics. I've said before, my rating is 4 out of 5. Any question from the audience about this?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
You said that the book, you like the book because it makes you think. What is the idea that is most mind-boggling, or the one that makes you think the most?
Okay. The two ideas that for me was mind-boggling. There are two actually. The one I mentioned earlier about the alternate universe. So, in theory, the alternative universe is there. There are so many evidence in theoretical physics. I just wonder how we can access them other than the Marvel universe, because there are so many alternative universe in Marvel. Like Captain Marvel actually lives in a different universe, right? So it makes me think of, how do I look like in other universe? It makes me kind of think about what I don't usually think about. And the next thing is about you create your own reality. This is something that I don't want to be sounding too new age, right? But it's a kind of great idea if you keep manifesting the secrets. They say, okay, it will come true like that. So I think these two things that I find interesting. Never?
Actually, if I may, I want to ask a question to Edo because Edo comes from physics department.
That's
What's your opinion about alternate universe, Edo, from scientific point of view?
To me, for alternative universe, currently there is not enough evidence to believe at that. But if there is more evidence, I can consider to rethink about that. For now, I just think that there is not relevant in our current knowledge, our current sums of knowledge.
But I think in
billions of dollars of fund is funneled to research about the alternative universe every year. It's an active field of research, actually. Yes, Donald?
yeah, but I think to Edo about alternate universe, I think it's proven theoretically but not empirically. Is that true? What do you think? Like
Yeah.
general relativity was proven theoretically first and empirically later.
Yeah. Okay, now try to interpret this. Like this is, remember last month I read philosophy, right? It was kind of confusing. Now this one, there is never an experience of a material object without a concomitant mental object, such as the thought I see this object, or without at least awareness. It's like, what? So, but I like this type of sentence because it gives me stop and think. What does it mean? Try to make a logical connection.
If you like that kind of sentence, maybe you will enjoy like Immanuel Kant or Voltaire.
Yeah, actually I enjoy it because I try to make sense of it. There are some meanings overlap with each other, and it's just fun. It's almost like TTS, crossword puzzle. Okay, so that is it about quantum physics.
I have a question.
Oh yes, there you go.
Okay. Uh, is there a part in this book that you find you really hard to agree with, but then you think, hey, this guy got a point, like that, but you really hard to agree with it?
Actually, like this, they said there's a guy who said that our system in our body doesn't even realize if they're part of the same body. Our nerve system, our hand doesn't even realize about our brain processes, but we're part of the same body, right? So they said, actually, all of us can be the same body. We don't even realize it. You and I are actually literally the same thing. Wow. You know what I mean? So it's like we're part of one big consciousness experienced differently.
Actually, that sounds like a lot of like science fiction.
Yes, science fiction.
I remember like in Star Trek there is a race that has something like that. I think Borg is the name. So every person
maybe
is part
inspired
of
by
something.
this, yeah. Maybe inspired by this. But guys, if you want, you don't have to read this book, but find the documentary, What the Bleep Do We Know? I think it's pretty interesting. It was booming that time in mid 2005. And also our thoughts can control a lot of our body more than we can. Just like when they said the message in water. But since most of us here are guys, for example, actually the book mentioned even it just sorry, yeah, this is a little bit vulgar. So even for a guy, just needs one thought to have an erection. That's it. So you don't even have to read a Playboy magazine or even watch a pornographic movie. You just need to require one thought. For example, this is how strong the mind is. Something like that. So the book even mentioned that. Yes, you can you confirm? I'm not a guy, so I don't know. Well, anyway, so watch the what is it? The documentary, yeah. And then what I'm reading next is actually the book I have read before, but I've never written a reflection about this book. And I'm about to coach 3 universities for public speaking this summer. So I want to read the Talk Like TED one more time by Carmen Gallo. So this is what I will read next. All right. And then let's go to Michael to talk about his book.
Yeah, well, a bit actually I haven't finished, so today I'm going to be a good observer.
Oh, okay, no worries. But remember that Fajar did not finish his book as well. But
I haven't finished what? What title?
Like,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, like no, actually, I'm reading the like the Biggest Secret from Rhonda Byrne. Rhonda, I don't know how to read that properly, but the point is I read it in jump because it was against religion, because it's antichrist and something new age things. There are some versions coming out from the same theory about it started out with The Secret, right, with the power of hope, and many theory against that theory. But the point is, I mean, there is no absolute oh, gak ada yang absolute. So
Nothing is absolute.
Nothing is absolute. Okay. Yeah, thanks for that. And so I read that part and the surrounding part that has the irisan, apa ya?
Intersection.
What?
Intersection.
Intersection with that theory, and I conclude that this lady has I mean, some parts of her theory applies well in my life. So it's really personal. So okay, I keep following her for her books, and so far it works very well, because it's not because of what her saying, but it's because any other part that actually we can find a connection between the reality with the physical theory, with the physics theory. So for example, if you want something, you just create the reality first in your mind, then you can architect it, you can create it in your own reality. I mean, it makes sense, because if we don't know where are we going to, then we've never reached our destination. So that's one theory that's logical, and she mentioned it in a different way. And this book actually, I get the like the mind-boggling idea that we are the consciousness. I mean, we are the consciousness itself. But Pipit already mentioned that what happened with the consciousness when we are sleeping, when we sleep. Then I don't know that. The thing that stuck in my mind, like, okay, it's about consciousness. So I haven't finished yet the book, but one key point. Okay, my consciousness. Where are we going to? Few years, last year actually, I'm interested in the like out of body experience, that kind of thing, just out of curiosity. I tried, but it didn't work. But when I tried another thing with the mystical healing, something blah blah blah, I was closing my eyes and concentrate, and weirdly the thing that the guy sending that kind of energy bullshit things, I can literally feeling out. I can literally felt it, because I deliberately wanted to test whether this is real or not. But I was closing my eyes, and I could feel it. It's not that obvious, like everything happened, but I can definitely feeling the vibration and something. So that's why I would like to know further about this kind of thing. So, and Rhonda, this writer has thing that will intersect with that thing. So that's why I'm interested in reading it. Yeah, because I'm lazy, so I'd like to find this kind of thing, because it can help rising the efficiency of anything we do. Yeah.
Michael, have you experienced out of body experience?
No. Like I tried that and ended up with falling asleep. Like, no, cannot. Even with
Like you want to try it, like out of body experience?
Yeah.
Wow.
We joined with that kind of spiritual teacher, blah blah blah. I tried like very hard, like it didn't work. But when he tried sending me something like cleansing energy, something chakra, blah blah blah, I could definitely feel it. I mean, because I deliberately wanted to try, and like I opened my mind, and I feel everything. Like, okay, I can feel it. Okay, this is real. And then I tried this like 3 days workshop, blah blah 3 days workshop, and the following days I tried again. Okay, yeah, this is real, because I like, it's not coincidence, because I experienced again. I experienced it again. Yep.
Wow.
So,
What
okay.
experience? Yeah. Have you guys experienced that before?
It has to be with the like the medium, because this guy is a medium connected to with his bigger teacher, blah 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 something. So like yeah, and then I told him, okay, hey Pedro, I'd like to have like one-on-one mystical healing with you sessions, like private session, because it was group. So I was thinking that maybe if I'm alone, I can experience it better. So it was 5 of us at the time, and then Pedro, I would like to have one-on-one sessions. And he mentioned, oh no, Michael, you don't have to. I think what we've done the past 3 days is enough, because the more people in the room, the energy is stronger. So that's why one-on-one session is not as good as like when we did it collectively with the meditation thing, blah blah blah. That thing. Okay, interesting. I tried myself here. No, I couldn't. And it's kind of I joined like hypnotherapy, hypnosis, NLP before. So like before doing that experience, I already like divided. Okay, this is not NLP. This is not hypnosis because like I already like put the border. So I actually curiosity want I would like to know it for real. I mean, so I'd like to make sure it's not hypnosis, it's not NLP. So that's my experience. Because you know what happened when connected with the hypnosis and NLP, the trainer of hypnosis, he demonstrated the people that were touched and then boom, that kind of bahasara, that kind of thing, like the hypnotist, the master, the mentor showed us, like demonstrated real life. Like, okay, this is like people that's being hypnotized, and he thought that everything's real, but it's not, because it's like part of the game, the demonstration game. So at the time I tried to block the hypnosis Gendam thing. I would like to experience it for secara sungguh-sungguh, but I don't know, because it's not like 1 + 1 = 2, so it's not yet done the journey. So I'm also curious. I'd like to learn.
This is totally different impression of Michael. So I didn't think that you would be interested in such thing. But
Oh,
just
yeah.
know Romy Raphael.
Yeah, I knew. The thing
I
that
actually met him.
Mhm.
Met him before in SCTV festival. SCTV.
Okay.
To hypnotize me, but it didn't work.
Yeah, right. Because you block
Did
and
not
he
work.
open, right? Yeah.
However, this book, Michael, probably you would love. This is really old, older than me. So,
Oh yeah. Oh.
Interpretation of dreams. This book really helps me. I used to have out of body experience
Okay.
when I sleep. I think
Yeah.
all of us probably have done it. I've seen it. Like you feel like you could not move, but you're conscious. Like what happened to me in Japanese, we call it kalindian. You know what I mean? Like you feel like you're awake, you cannot move your body. And said when we sleep, our consciousness is turned off, but our body is still connected to reality. So our consciousness is not connected to reality, but our body is. Sometimes there's nyamuk, mosquito, we still do this when we sleep. Just hit it, automatically. But our consciousness doesn't even connect to it.
Huh.
In rare occasion, it's sometimes the other way around. So our consciousness is already connected with the reality, but our body is still sleeping. When you are awake, but you cannot move your body, and people think that is seeing a ghost. This book really helped me not afraid of ghosts.
Oh, okay. You're not afraid of ghosts now?
No. I can sleep in the cemetery, I think. Like
Okay.
I can take that kind of challenge.
Yeah.
Waku something.
Yeah, to win 100,000 rupiahs.
Yeah, but maybe 100 million instead of 100,000. It's wasting of my time. Okay, so Rizka is
Thank you.
Rizka, you ready, Banten? Unmute dong.
No, actually.
Yes. Okay, now.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Michael. Wait, sorry. What's the next book? What's the next book? Sorry, you have not mentioned it. Next
Ah,
book.
the next book here I wrote like I'm interested with the Fajar's
Oh
book,
yeah.
and I'd like to learn more about event management because it's needed in my company. I don't really like it, but I'm not sure because I need the guidance on it. I don't like it though.
Good luck.
Like
We learn the most in uncomfortable situation.
mm, yeah, I'll try.
Now let's go to Rizka. Thank you, Michael.
Thanks.
Okay, good day, everyone. So my book is this one. Why Therapy Works by Luis Cozzolino, using our minds to change our brain. So first of all, I know this book from a webinar related to mental health, and then I took it more deeply. What's interesting about this book is for all of us who are curious about our mental health. I mean, our physical health is very common to be discussed, but our mental health usually considered as like a taboo. It's if you're learning about mental health, you are sick or something. But this book started by a question for this person. So the author is a psychiatrist, and he's being asked by his client about what makes the therapy that you are doing actually works. How does it makes the client do something differently? And by sharing all the process that's being done throughout the interaction. And then he also mentioned about specifically how the brain evolving from our ancestors actually deals about us being survival, and then how it actually prevents us from learning, because we are driven to be survive, and then and we have, I mean, we secure ourselves from fear, from unknown, from being dangerous, but at the same time it prevents us to learn. And so throughout the book I learned more about the situation on the therapy sessions, because he mentioned a few of the clients' situations. He also mentioned about some of the technique that he's being using. And then I also learned one thing about, wait, let me check. It's pretty heavy. So what interesting to me is he mentioned about alpha and beta characters, and he mentioned there are 10 alpha characters that that's being mentioned. And he also said that basically people who are coming to him are those who are aspire to be alphas, because alphas knows what they're doing. I mean, they're very driven, and betas is the one who just follow the rules and everything. But those are who having the struggle are those who are wanted to have a driver. I mean, like to, be the driver seats in their life, but have this like boundaries, some kind of things that make them prevent them to do that. And so I considered myself as an aspiring alpha. And so again, this book also triggers me to do something differently. There are two characters that I try to experience. First is alpha's security in their abilities. That is their willingness to take risks based on their own judgment and open to correction and modification to improve their strategy. And the second is alphas taking responsibilities for their behavior and the success of failure in the group. And so, but throughout reading this book, I like experience at the office. For example, when there's something at work, and then I feel like if I do that, I'll be risking looking dumb by by my boss. And then after reading this, I was like, okay, what's the worst thing that could happen? And then I actually do it, and he didn't say anything. So I was like, okay, why did I do this before? And the second is something that initiative that I've been holding back, which is I usually do. And then instead of just waiting for my colleagues to come and giving the assignment or something that I already give the task to them, I approach them and really asking what's going on, what's your problem, and everything else. And so, reading this book gets me to a part of something that I didn't notice before. That is, we definitely have control over our mind by reading through how the each part of our brain connects it, and how we can detach ourselves from our past for our present, and how we think about our future. If what I dislike about this book is I don't have the hard book. I only have the ebook, because the joy of reading hard book, you can like flip it very easily, and also that. And the second is, although it's very you can, if even if you're not in psychology, you can read it like we are, most of us are, but it still takes like a coach or a mentor or a psychotherapist to actually practice it, because you still need someone to listen and asking direct questions to have you actually get the most benefit of the process that's being mentioned in this book. I rated 5. And then if any, so okay, now I just ask if anyone want to ask something, please do.
Priska, I have a question on the chat box.
Okay. My question, okay, why surviving situation prevents us? Okay, so, wait. So basically, our ancestry, I mean, on prehistoric life, we always being confronted with very dangerous situations, like wild beasts or like a weather and everything. And so our brain is like designed to makes us less doubt. I mean, we have like our instant relationship. I mean, if we see fear, if we see something that makes us afraid, there are automatic response to it. Either we fight it or we flight it. And by not understanding this atomic or automation, we prevent ourselves from learning, because learning takes steps for us to, like, first we have to step back, and then we like see it on a different situations, whether this is something good, something bad, or is it something bad right now but it can be good in the future. So yeah, surviving situation is something that is useful, absolutely. But during the situation right now, I mean, like in our workplace or in our family, nothing gets us. I mean, we will not get starvation, or we don't have. I mean, it's very very limited situation that will get that kind of situation. And so by understanding that we ourselves have the natural situation, I mean like kecenderungan tertentu untuk langsung bereaksi, by understanding that, we already make that distance and then learning from it. Thank you for the question, Mbak Bibit.
Thank you, Rizka, for reminding us. So if we want to learn, we need to pause and step back first.
Yes.
Assessing our options and then react. It's related to what David said earlier, right?
Yeah.
It's okay to stop and think first.
Yes, because it's also related to neuroplasticity. I also previously mentioned about the growth mindset. It's also related, and so our mind is have the capacity to grow. So yeah, and by having to understand ourselves mentally, we get more control over not being too controlled, I guess. That's also yeah.
Is there any other question? Why
If
did you
not,
decide?
sorry,
Why
yeah.
did you decide to read about this book, Rizka?
Yeah. So first of all, I am aspired to learn psychologist when I was in a bachelor, but I didn't get through it. And second of all, I was in the process of being coached by a friend of mine, and like I mentioned before, it's by reading this, I understand more of the process of coaching, and how her questions gets me, oh, okay, this is my past and this is what I'm doing right now, and then this is something that I can actually have control of. And through the process, she say to me, oh, Rizka, you're now in your driver's seat. Oh yeah, yeah, I guess I am. So having that realizations makes me like, oh, okay, that's good. Yeah.
I hope everyone is in their own driver's seat right now.
Yeah.
But there was a saying like, it's useless if you're in the driver's seat if your route has already been decided.
Yeah.
It's like the driver's seat of what is that called? Jakarta busway, for example. You're in the
Yeah.
driver's seat, but the route's already decided for you.
Yeah, you can always like you have you do have options. I mean, if you're very rich or your car is being assurance, you just leave it at the traffic and just go. You always have that options. But
Yeah.
but again, that is true. I mean, like if you're in the traffic and you feel like you have no options and you're feeling stuck, by realizing that, oh, okay, now I'm stuck. Do I have options? Yeah,
Walk out of the
that's
car and
yeah. I
oh
always,
wow,
I
that's
mean,
actually quite deep.
I mean, thinking that we can go outside and do that is already liberating, because what's unfun about being on traffic is we have nothing to think about. So having our mind wander is also always very exciting.
Especially if we have a book, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to read in traffic.
Okay, so if nobody else have question, I have questions.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, if you have, if a friend of yours are offering you like a 4 sessions of therapy, would you take it, or why not?
Do you have to pay or for free?
No, free. It's free.
Oh, I would love to take it. Even
Okay.
others. What do you think of free psychological consultation? Depending on the person qualification, Ido said.
Okay.
David? No? Okay, Michael?
Not at the moment.
No?
Okay.
Donald?
So, sorry, what's the question? I got a phone call just now.
Okay, so if you are giving free therapy sessions, would you take it? Why or why not?
Given, right?
Yes, free.
Well, no, unless I have more information about it. Because yes.
Yeah, actually, I said yes, but it was kind of for experience, but probably I will not tell the truth. Right?
Yeah, because
Let me take you back to your childhood, like, no.
Because what if the therapist plans something in my subconscious, something harmful?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
I'm too skeptic for it, I think.
okay. All right. Okay. Okay.
How about you,
Okay.
Miss Karen?
Okay, so I would. I mean, I haven't actually have a therapy sessions, but I think being in a coaching sessions have the same idea. I mean, we always have the control over what we're saying or not saying, or sharing or not we're saying, sharing. So we always have the driver's seat for that sessions. But this small question basically shows that mental health issues is very frightening for most of us.
It is.
Yeah. So
If I
I
can
would.
share one
Yeah, I'm
story,
afraid.
maybe.
Kenapa? Wait,
Yeah.
Michael. Yeah, kenapa
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
I'm
Michael?
Michael.
afraid with those kind of sessions. So,
Actually, in Toastmaster, I have a friend.
Mhm.
Actually, some of you probably know this person, but I will not tell who. This
Okay.
person just had a broken, putus with pacar,
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
and this person decided to go on therapy and spend 15 million rupiah, 15
Ooh.
for
wow.
therapy.
Okay.
And I'm like,
Okay.
and did you feel any better? I mean, like I would feel worse losing 15 million rupiah for
Then
seeing a psychologist over a broken heart, and not even a husband or wife, it was just boyfriend, girlfriend. So
okay.
I'm like, wow, this type of thing is really happening.
How much per
What's
session,
the
Vicky?
feedback?
Sorry?
How much per session? How come it becomes 15 million?
I
Like,
think it was 3 months and 15.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's even, I think per session is 1 million rupiah.
Oh, okay.
So, wow.
What's the result? Is there the result? Is there
Yeah,
any?
well, when I meet this person, still think about the mantan, still have not moved on. So I'm like, what's the use of paying 15 million? Like I can buy a new motorbike or something and feel better about yourself. I don't know. But this thing is happening. It's a real business, I guess. It's just I'm too skeptical for it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. But people, I tried also, but with psychologists. That is
Okay.
something I tried it. Like yeah. It's not tried it. I used it definitely like last year.
How does that make you feel?
It made me better. It's like blind spot. Like Tiger Woods also have like blind spot, right? This
Mm-mm.
person. Even me, like I took certification on life coaching, but sometimes it's my blind spot. It's like I just need person. Like I need definitely I need. I cannot do everything myself. And I agree that it's important. But my worry is when we are in that vulnerable situations, if we meet and we talk with someone that is not, I mean, it's not like that kind of good enough. I worry it can
Mm-mm.
direct us in the wrong direction instead. That's
Yes.
why I'm afraid. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We have to very trust that person because agree. I also from my coaching session, she's someone that I know very very well, so I can be open to that person. But a total strangers, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, the point is about having something taken from that sessions is what is important, I guess. Okay,
But
so
Rizka,
yeah. Kenapa?
if I can add, like my experience joining like the NLP and hypnotherapist thing,
Mm-mm,
there
mm-mm.
is like the special topic how to to be trusted and how to build instant rapport. So
Yeah,
that makes
definitely.
me even worry.
Yeah, absolutely, because that's the basic. It's also mentioned in the book, actually, having that rapport with the clients. It's foundation. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But
Rizka, just to
yeah.
FYI, we have 4 minutes left. Maybe
Okay,
you want to talk about the next book. If you still have enough time, we
okay,
can take one more question.
okay. I think. Is there any questions? Let me share. So okay, I guess no questions. The next book either I will share I will discuss a book by a female author. I haven't read anything from female author most of this session. So I'll either have Twili Thwart, The Creative Habit. She's a choreographer, or is either that or finishing Madeline or Bright's Madam Secretary. We'll see. So the reason why is basically, yeah, I've read too much male author. I gotta have more diverse one. Yeah, okay, so that's my share. Thank you, Mbak Pipit. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Rizka. Now, before we end our session, can everyone grab Crusoe's book? So we
Okay,
can take
wait.
a photo. I will edit Fajar face later in. Okay, 1, 2. Let me check.
Check.
It looks good. Right.
Excellent.
So, any other announcement, maybe Donald, before we?
No, just I want to mention our mission, cultivating the passion for lifelong learning. So let's cultivate the passion for lifelong learning until our next meeting. Thank you.
Okay.
So, who is interested to be the next moderator? 12th of June. Anyone interested to be the moderator? Like, I want Edo to be moderator. Like, he's been one of the longest member of Brewers, never been a moderator before.
Okay, I will try
Edo?
for the next meeting. Yes, I will try it.
Okay, 12 June.
Thank
See you guys.
you.
12
See
June
you.
next month. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
See you.